What's up, guys? This is Ronnie 2K, and welcome to 2K Now, where we speak to influencers, celebrities, NBA players, and content creators. And there's a very special content creator. You guys know her as It's Pika. What's going on?
Nothing much, just that community day. It's a nice day out here.
Yeah.
Hot.
So we're going to talk about a lot of topics. Number one, what was your inspiration to become a content creator? Who did you see and it was like, this is what I wanted to do?
Honestly, nobody. It just happened that way. I just started, COVID happened. I saw TikTok. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start posting on here. I started posting dancing videos. I was like, this is not me. I can't dance. So then I moved on to posting about 2K and it started to do well. And I was like, oh, I could kind of do this. I'm getting views, so then I started doing that more often and it just kind of happened from there, So I would say now I watch bigger, Twitch stars, I watch guys like Flight, all those guys. And I'm just
Why?
because I want to see how they
specifically?
entertain people. I feel like they are very entertaining, people love them. So I want to see what they're doing, how much energy they're bringing, how's their personality. Not that I want to change mine, but I just want to see how much energy I should bring as well.
Yeah. What was the goal? Why were you all of a sudden, during the pandemic, I want to start creating content? But was there a long-term objective?
No, it was just super random actually. I was just like, you know what, I'm going to make content. And then it started getting views. And then I was like, I started posting every day and I was like, wow, I'm still getting views. But I never thought I would, make money from it, be able to get scanned into 2K, get free copies of 2K. I used to pay for that stuff, So just those little things, I was like, I didn't even think that was possible. So now I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
Okay, so now you look at it and it's become this amazing thing. What do you want this to be in 3 to 5 years? What is the goal now?
The goal is, maybe I'm not going to be content creating for a long time, but I still want to be in the space of basketball, whether it's broadcasting or just behind the scenes of people who are content creating, working for companies that do a lot of social media, something like that. I just want to be a part of basketball because that's really what I love.
Yeah. Well, you said something there about wanting to maybe represent others. Is that important to you? Do you feel like you have inspired, obviously a big time female influencer in the basketball sports space. Do you feel like you've been an inspiration for others?
I think a little bit, yeah. I think girls, maybe they felt like they could start, just posting about 2K in a place where, maybe they didn't feel like it was okay before. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I do get sometimes, girls be like, oh my God, you're one of the first girls I've seen streaming. And I'm like, wow, that's just unreal, to be that for somebody. So maybe
And
a
getting
little
to
bit.
talk about something that you truly, really
Yes.
love.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's in itself inspiring, right? Being able to try to make a career out of a very specific niche. A lot of people want to be in sports. A lot of people love sports.
Yeah.
So for you to have taken that interest and turned it into something that you can monetize and get recognition and get brand deals and work with the brands that you mentioned, did you ever think that might happen? And
No.
yeah,
No
okay.
way. I didn't think any of this was possible. I didn't know you could make a living like this.
Yeah.
I thought maybe YouTube views, but just I didn't know you can make a living with TikTok, mostly doing such a niche like basketball.
So why not forever? I'm confused.
I would love to do it forever, but it's hard to do it forever. It takes a toll on your mentally, it takes a toll on you trying to be creative all the time. So if I'm not there mentally, I would still want to be in basketball somehow, but maybe not content creation. And, it's hard to be entertaining for that long. So if I could do it forever, I definitely would.
Do you feel like it's difficult to be creative that long because it's an energy drain? Is that it's so like I've asked others this question on this podcast before, which is how much of your time do you put into content creation and how much of your time do you put into brand strategy, like percentage wise? Like when you're thinking about like what is Pika the brand? What is the percentage share that you spend on content versus thinking about the brand?
I think I spend too much time on content,
Mm-hmm.
whereas I don't spend enough time on the brand part
Mm-hmm.
of it. So I would say like the percentage wise would be like 70-30.
Well, that's not bad. I thought you were gonna say
Yeah.
like 90-10.
Well, okay, maybe 80-20
Yeah.
then. Yeah, because I never saw myself as a brand, so I'm still
Yeah.
kind of getting used to that. But I always see content, and that's like the first thing that comes into mind whenever I see anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would encourage you if I can inspire you at all. Obviously, we're both brown. We have a lot in common.
Right.
I would encourage you to spend a lot of time, almost as much time, thinking about what you want this to be, what you want the objectives to be, what brands are important to you, and how are you going to get them to be
Right.
interested in you as you do on your great content,
Right.
right? So like, what are some of the brands that you want to work with, and how could you make that happen? For example, just name one.
The NBA.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's definitely one
but
that.
you don't really care about like endorsements or anything like that.
Um.
It's just sports, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. Just I didn't think about the endorsements. I'm just thinking like just like working with sports, like whether it's analytical or
Yeah,
in any space,
yeah.
really.
Well, you're already doing that. That's what I'm saying.
I
Like, I'm
know,
like,
you're right, but it still doesn't feel like it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I know it does take a while for like, it took me a long time to recognize. I'm like, oh my god, like I am creating content that people really care about, and because I was just doing what I enjoyed, and I was a fan of 2K before I was the face of 2K, right? And so
Right.
I relate with you in that way, but I really want you to think about like what you can do to like broaden your reach, because I think you are really important to young girls who might be uncomfortable like being open about liking basketball and like liking the things that they do,
Right.
and they find you inspiring.
Yeah.
So I'm just, I
Yeah.
want you to lean in. I don't want you to just be like, oh, I got a good thing going and it might get me to a basketball career. Like, you should think about the impact you're having on people.
Yeah. I sometimes forget that with all that's going on, but I feel like I really do have to think about that part of it
Yeah,
all.
100%. You have this audience that's very engaged. I did want to ask you one more thing. When you originally started making content and you got started to get picked up by House of Highlights and Bleacher Report and all of them, did you think that that was like a moment of being recognized, or were you thinking like, oh, this is a good opportunity for me to amplify and like be known by, a bunch, get more followers and all that stuff? Like, what was your thought process when that started happening? Because I remember it was
Yeah.
like early pandemic, you started putting out videos of, my top 5 NBA players, my top teams. I remember that very vividly. And it would be, you'd get picked up every day by a new outlet. Like, what was that thought process when that was happening?
I was just like, this is like, why
Surreal.
me?
Yeah.
I was like, why? What is so special about these videos? Because I was really just posting,
Mm-hmm.
my thoughts about NBA and stuff, and I was just like, how did this happen? But it was really just like me being happy that I did get recognized,
Yeah.
and that yeah, I guess it was just me being recognized. I didn't think about the followers and stuff at the time. I didn't think about like the negativity too, because that was something I had to go through with like working with House of
Yeah.
Highlights.
Yeah, because they have an audience that maybe isn't used to that kind of content.
Right, right. See, so
How did you kind of deal with that, block that out?
it was hard for me. Like, honestly, I went to them and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want you guys posting my videos anymore
Mm-hmm.
because I can't like I can't not look at the comments. But then now I'm like, dang, like I don't care. I'm like, that was so good for me. I'm being recognized by House of Highlights. They want to post my
Yeah.
videos. And so I look back and I'm like, well, I might have reacted silly, but at that time, emotionally, I was like thinking about not doing these videos
But I mean,
anymore.
that's like you were talking about the creative energy you need to do content, right?
Right.
That's also part of it too. Like the
Yeah.
feedback that you're gonna get and how like soul sucking that might be.
Yeah.
It's a lot to handle.
Yeah, it was a lot because at that time they were posting me a lot, and I think people are just they're just annoyed by the fact that, other people are getting attention and they're not. So creatively, I was just like done. I was like I can't do this anymore. Like I can't think of anything because I felt like everything I was doing was wrong at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you stuck with it because your content means so much to so many people,
Thank
and we
you.
all appreciate Pika. So, uh, hopefully, you guys enjoyed our time with Pika. Go check out her content if you haven't already. And thank you guys for watching. This is Ronnie, and this was 2K Now.